sorry.
It's all right, old fella.
It's closing up, fellas.
Coffee? Black.
I'm sorry, we're close.
I said, coffee!
You can go home now, Charlotte.
I think you're gonna be sticking around for a while, honey.
Tom?
Don't fucking move.
Sure, we don't carry much cash here. You gentlemen are certainly welcome all of it.
I do know that. Let's show this asshole we mean business.
What?
The movie opens at a quiet roadside motel somewhere in the American Midwest. Two men emerge from one of the motel rooms. Leland Jones is well past 50, thick-skinned and unreadable. William Orser, by contrast, is in his early 20s, edgy and impatient. They barely speak until Leland says he'll go check them out from the motel and strolls to the office. William does as he's told, slowly driving the car to the front of the office and waits until Leland finally reappears. When asked what took him so long, Leland says there was a problem with the manager, but it's taken care of. Preparing for a long journey ahead, Leland notices that they're out of water and orders the younger man to fill up their jug in the office. William walks half-assed into the building and behind the counter, revealing a bloody scene of the manager slumped dead on the chair and the housekeeper on the floor. William seems unbothered, taking a can of beer and filling up the water jug when he notices a young girl walking in. She seems rightfully scared, but William tries to calm her down with a soothing voice while crouching down. The scene cuts to a different little girl screaming in her bed. The girl, Sarah, is immediately calmed down by her father, Tom Stahl. Soon after, Sarah's older brother, Jack, and their mother, Edie, joins to comfort their youngest. Sarah says that she dreamt of monsters in her bedroom, but Tom assures her that monsters aren't real. The Stalls seem like your typical happy family living in a small Midwest town called Milbrook. Edie is an attorney, and that morning, Tom asks her to drop him off for work since his truck was broken. Despite their long marriage, the couple still shows that they're in love with one another. Tom runs a diner in their small town, where everyone seems to know everyone. He is friendly and likable, chatting with fellow staff before they open for the day.
Who's the craziest woman you ever dated? He once dated a girl. Used to attack him in the middle of the night.
I woke up one night, stuck a goddamn fork in my shoulder. She's sitting there crying, going, baby, I love you, I love you.
You broke up with her, right?
No, I married her.
Meanwhile, in gym class, Jack is playing baseball with the other students. He manages to gain a score for his team right before the game ends, earning him praise from his peers. However, the batter that lost the ball to Jack is the school's renowned bully, Bobby Singer. In the locker room, Bobby confronts Jack, who uses humor and self-insults in an attempt to get the bully to back down.
Come on, chicken shit, let's do this! Let's do this, you punk!
Doing violence to me just seems pointless, and I mean, you win. You win, you win. Shouldn't that be little punk-ass chicken shit faggot bitch?
Thankfully, the gimmick works, and Jack is left alone for now.
God!
Later that night, Edie picks up her husband from the diner. On the way home, she indicates that they're going to have a date night since their kids aren't home. Tom nervously waits for Edie to get prepared for their steamy night in the bathroom. She surprises him by wearing her high school cheerleading uniform, pretending they were teens because they weren't high school sweethearts. Meanwhile, Jack is hanging out with his girlfriend on the streets of Milbrook. Bored and looking for trouble, Bobby and his friend are out on a drive when they spot Jack. Bobby swings the car around, hungry to make a scene. As they roll up, they almost hit a pickup truck. Bobby gives the driver the finger to insult him until he sees the two men inside. Leland and William glare back with flat, predatory eyes. In an instant, Bobby's bravado evaporates. The truck rumbles past, and William mutters that he's sick of small towns such as Milbrook.
We are so goddamn broke.
That's easy to fix.
Back at the diner, closing time creeps closer. Two late customers work through the last bites of their meals while Tom wipes down the counter, ready to lock up. The bell over the door rings when Leland and William walk in. They take their seats on the counter and ask for coffee. Tom apologizes and says they're shutting down for the night. Leland raises his voice and demands coffee anyway. Tom doesn't like confrontation, especially in his diner, so he nods to one of his boys behind the counter to pour the coffee. He tells the young waitress who's finishing her shift to go home while he stays to serve the two men. When the waitress tries to leave, William grabs her arm, forces her into a chair, and tells her not to move with a malicious grin. Tom assumes that they're here to rob him. He says he'll hand over the cash in the register if they leave. Leland answers by drawing a pistol and telling Tom he already knows the money is his.
You gentlemen are certainly welcome all of it.
I know that, asshole.
He orders William to shoot the waitress to make it clear this isn't a bluff. These aren't thieves content to run. They're cleanup men who intend to kill every witness to their crime as they did in the motel earlier. Tom has a heartbeat to decide. He can comply and watch everyone die, or he can move. William's assault on the waitress has Leland distracted. For a long breath, no one moves. The friendly and humble Tom is now standing over two bodies, blood soaking into his shoe, breathing hard and steady. Tom watches the news reporting of the crime while the doctors treat his stabbed foot. Edie comes running to hug him, worried about her husband's condition, but he assures her that he's fine. Outside the hospital, townsfolk gather to wish him well and thank him. The Stalls return home to a reporter waiting for an interview. He says that he's not a hero, just a man who did what anyone would do.
What I did was, anybody would have done that.
Tom acts cordially, but conveys his wish for privacy after the whole ordeal. The reporter understands and leaves his residence, but when Edie checks the window, she sees another car parked in front of their house. They dismiss it as more reporters, but something feels more sinister. When Tom returns to the diner, the place is swamped with the townsfolk enthusiastically supporting the local hero's business. Even Edie jumps behind the counter to help since it's so crowded. In the middle of the rush, 3 suspiciously dressed men come in. They're clearly not local, wearing suits and shades that scream trouble. Their leader, Carl Fogarty, orders coffee and then calls Tom by another name, Joey Cusack. Tom holds his face still and tells him he has the wrong man. The leader takes off his glasses. His face is cut with old scars, and one of his eyes was clearly injured many years ago. How about now? He says, like he's turning on a light. Tom keeps denying it.
Give me some coffee. Make it black. Joey.
My name's Tom, sir.
Of course it is.
Sorry, do you think we know each other?
Come on, Joey, cut the crap.
My name is Tom.
Disturbed by the men's insistence and presence, Edie says she'll call the police if they don't go. Carl smiles and finally walks out with his 2 men. When they're gone, Edie calls Sheriff Sam Carney about the incident. He stops the men's expensive car to run their plates and IDs. Carl says that they're just tourists, and despite not believing the half-assed lie, Sam lets them go but warns them not to come back or mess with the Stalls.
Don't let me see you around again.
Well, you keep up the good work, officer.
That evening, Sam knocks on the Stalls' door. He looks grim. They tell Tom and Edie that the 3 men are tied to organized crime in Philadelphia. Sam tried to look for information on a Joey Cusack in Philadelphia, but there's nothing to be found. However, they do have Richie Cusack there, an Irish-American mob boss. Sam thinks Carl and Richie might be affiliated somehow. He then asks Tom straight out if he knows them, if he's ever used another name, or if he's currently in a witness protection program. Tom insists that he doesn't know them or Joey Cusack. He keeps saying the men must have seen him on the news and mistaken him for someone else. Unfortunately, the mobsters aren't done with Tom. The next morning, Tom walks to work, still with a limp. Before the diner even opens, he notices the black car used by Carl stopping up front. When Tom comes out to confront them, the car drives away towards the direction of his house. Tom runs with his limp while he calls Edie, who's still asleep. When she answers, Tom frantically tells her to prepare the shotgun, indicating that the mobsters are on the way there. She panics and tries to do as told, struggling because the gun is stored away as they've never needed it. She goes downstairs and aims the gun at the door, almost shooting Tom when he barges in. After making sure that the men aren't coming, they breathe a small sigh of relief. Tom says that he feels paranoid, but Edie validates his fears. Even Jack, who was still eating breakfast, is shocked and confused. He tries to handle the shotgun, but Tom takes it away, saying that it's dangerous. Coming downstairs, Sarah reminds Edie about their plan to shop for her shoes today. So the two headed to the local mall. Right after Edie parks her car and heads inside, the mobster's car parks right next to them. Inside, Edie is trying on a pair of shoes when she notices that Sarah is missing. She panics and goes outside the store barefoot, calling out for her daughter. That's when she notices Carl sitting inside the mall, pointing at Sarah to show that she had simply wandered to see some toys on display. After hurrying to hold her daughter, Edie warns Carl that she'll get a restraining order and will get him arrested if he comes near her family again. However, Carl softly suggests that Edie should question her husband's true identity.
Why don't you ask Tom about his older brother, Richie? And ask him, Edie, how come he's so good at killing people? You have an enchanting daughter. Don't forget your shoes.
At school, Jack is being bullied and taunted again by Bobby in the hallway.
Is your old man some kind of tough guy, huh? Go on, bitch, say something funny.
Jack, let's just get out of here, okay? Bobby, leave him alone.
Shut up, skank.
Let's just go. Let's just get out of here, okay?
Goddamn, I bet your dad'd be real shamed by you.
Under all the pressure, Jack lashes out, shocking everyone and even his girlfriend by beating up the jock and his lackey. The two lay bloodied on the floor, and Tom has to pick his son up from school. At home, he angrily tells Jack that violence isn't the answer. Jack spits out a remark that Tom kills people to solve his problems, which earns him a hard slap to the cheek. The boy stares at him with a mix of hate and hurt and storms out of the house, despite his father's attempt to apologize. Evening falls and Edie returns home from filing a restraining order against Carl and his men. Then suddenly, Carl's black sedan slides to a stop in front of the stall house, and Carl and his men step out. They call for Tom to come outside. Tom opens the door with a shotgun low at his side and tells them to leave. Carl wants Tom to ride with him to Philadelphia, or else. The rear door opens, and one of the men climbs out, gripping Jack in a chokehold. Edie panics, and Tom tells her to go inside, reassuring her that he'll keep their son safe. Tom places the shotgun down so they release Jack, who bolts for the house. From an upstairs window, Edie watches as one thug presses a pistol to Tom's head. In a flash, Tom seems to change completely. Carl reacts fast and shoots Tom, the bullet tearing into his shoulder and knocking him down. Carl steps close, points the gun at Tom's face, and asks if he has any last words.
You got anything to say before I blow your brains out, you miserable prick?
I should have killed you, McInfelly.
Suddenly, Carl is shot dead from behind. It was Jack that shot the abandoned shotgun, pale and shaking. Tom shoves himself upright, gently takes the shotgun from his son, and pulls the boy into a fierce hug. At the hospital, Edie sits beside Tom in shock, fear, and anger. She asks for the real truth about Tom's identity. After a long pause, Tom finally says what he's kept buried. He was indeed Joey Cusack, Richie's younger brother who was also part of the Mafia. Years ago, he crossed Carl and Richie, and instead of dying, he ran. He killed his identity, buried the past, and built a new life as Tom Stahl. He says that's who he is now, that he left Joey behind. Understandably, Edie is upset, feeling like their whole relationship and family was built on a lie. After getting discharged, Tom returns home from the hospital alone. He sees Jack on the front porch, who also starts questioning his identity, calling him a mobster. Jack asks if Tom will hurt him if he tells the sheriff about the whole ordeal, and he walks away when his father doesn't reply. That evening, Sheriff Sam returns. He asks a few more questions about the shootout at the. He thinks that it's odd for a mobster like Carl to go to such lengths unless he's sure that Tom is Joey. Tom is close to telling him everything when Edie steps between them and says enough. She tells Sam that the family has been through enough and that they need some space. Feeling bad about Edie, who starts crying, Sam nods and leaves them to it. The door hardly clicks shut before Edie turns on Tom. He tries to stop her from storming away, pulling her leg and even choking her. In the heat of the moment, the argument turns into a messy, desperate embrace. Despite their passionate tangle earlier, Edie is still deeply upset at Tom, so he sleeps on the couch. Deep in the night, the phone rings. When Tom answers, his brother Richie Cusack greets him as if nothing had happened. He wants Tom to visit him in Philly, or else he'll come to the small town himself. Tom knows it's a threat against his family, so at dawn, he gets in the car and heads east. After many hours of driving, he arrives in Philadelphia, stepping into a dive bar where he meets one of Richie's men. The kid leads him to a car, driving away, then pulling up to a big fancy house. Inside, the kid says he needs to frisk Tom for a weapon. Tom says he's unarmed, but after the kid insists, he allows it. Richie then steps downstairs to greet Tom. He pulls Tom into a brother's hug, even giving him a familial kiss, and leads him to a study room. Richie starts with small talk about Indiana, about the diner, about the kids. Then, the conversation moves towards Tom, or Joey's past. Joey's disappearance cost him a lot, he says. Crossing another gang's important member causes a lot of disturbance in Philly's underworld scene. People questioned Richie's control, people's respect bled away, and Richie had to spend power to keep power.
You cost me a hell of a lot, Joey. A hell of a lot.
Tom asks what he can do to make it right, and Richie says the only way is for Joey to die. Behind him, one of Richie's men uses a wire to choke him. Thankfully, Tom's hands get in the way. Richie yanks a drawer open and starts shooting, to no avail. Tom dives, rolls, kills another bodyguard, and disappears into the hall as splinters jump from the doorframe. Another bodyguard comes into the room, inspecting the mess, but Richie tells him to leave and go after Tom instead. Before going after his brother, Richie kills his hurt underling for failing his task. In moments, the house is quiet except for Tom's breathing. Richie, assuming Tom fled out the front, steps outside with his gun up into the night.
Jesus, Joey.
Finally now ending his remaining ties to the identity of Joey Cusack.
Jesus, Richie.
Dawn breaks as Tom walks towards the lake by his brother's manicured lawn. He throws the gun, opens his bloodied clothes, and dips into the water to wash away the blood and the remains of his past. The drive back to Indiana feels endless. When Tom turns onto his street, the house is warm with light. Inside, Edie sits at the dining table with Jack and Sarah, silently preparing to eat their dinner. No one speaks at first. Jack looks at his father, then quietly slides a plate toward him. Edie meets Tom's eyes, and in her eyes lives everything. Anger that hasn't burned out, relief that he came home alive, love that hasn't disappeared, and wary hope that the man who walked back to this table is the one who keeps choosing them.